The Gardens of MOAT. By Billy McBride. Copyright 2020, by Billy McBride. All rights reserved. Chapter 1. A summary of the Gardens of M.O.A.T. The Gardens of MOAT, that is those of the monumental outrageousness around Texas, are what the secular and non-political MOAT non-profit organization seeks to build for charity and for the public, and by renting land to businesses on the site around the gardens. M.O.A.T can collect money for charities it supports. M.O.A.T represents immensity. It is a big project for a big cause, which is to help fund charities in the best way possible while providing an open space for visitors to come and enjoy. And, as the gardens of M.O.A.T develop on the land and in the minds of the public, so does the imagination and help which we at M.O.A.T can provide. The gardens of M.O.A.T are metaphors for my own mind, and developing them and cultivating them inside me is like developing my mind, while developing them outside of me is like developing a part of Texas where I live. The following material in this book answers questions which are raised about these gardens of MOAT. Chapter 2. A Charitable Purpose. Texas thrives best when uninterrupted hope has an endless power, and this can aid our toils in a thrilling way. And Texas continues to have that power, especially to help the dreams of charity out, as it represents a manufacturing of that essential friendship which is needed to do so. Texas grows, and charity and natural beauty help to aid our toils and fight terrible things off. Beauty desires to become a part in our lives as it is a natural goodness which can help our needs be supported, but not spoiled. Beauty is furthered through both an artful generosity and love, as they represent a beginning and animation of what can help to strengthen us without manipulation. And Texas can do its part with a great love and a great money, both of which are strengthening and sweetening forces. And Texas stands apart in our view to use unflattering money to create more happiness in the land by sweetening that happiness. The understanding is that Texas, by taking an interest in happiness for people, can create a detailed and better future for victims, and this is to without doubt make beautiful the opportunities which can help to raise up those of us whom we love who have been lowered as people due to unfortunate events which have lowered them. And Texas cares, being that the victims we love are there for us to help, so that they may be raised back from a lower state to one where they know, by our help that works, that our friendship certainly exists for them and for others. Chapter 3. The Tourists and the Public. The layout of M.O.A.T for tourists spreads out, and it is inclusive with its hopefulness, being that it raises us up and aids our toils. Inclusiveness raises us up. Hope aids our toils. The gardens of M.O.A.T are visited, and a hope comes to the public, which aids their toils in a simple way. The children, the families, tourists all visit the M.O.A.T garden parks for the public who understands, with a power, that they themselves belong there. The public represents a power, and when we understand, we feel that we belong. The tourists understand with a wonder, so they connect with the pleasures they find in the gardens of MOAT. The layout is the cause of a wonder, and that pleasure that comes from the fun, from a good clean fun. The flowers bloom, and the fun helps us feel clean, and they are beautiful and good. They are of a beauty which is goodness. And that is because our love thrives for making beautiful places, which are places which can fight off terrible stuff. The layout is interesting enough so as to allow conversations to develop about those gardens of MOAT. And conversations are what enable us, as the gardens help us feel that we have something. The flowers smell good in the air, and the garden of surprises is of any good nighty, of feeling higher, and gardens help us have something of that experience. The flowers are colorful, and the surprise is for a happiness of a feeling of being higher, like a bird singing a song. The picket fences stretch and open as the happiness of the public helps to bring them a little more of a better future, as a better future is beauty. The flowers are enjoyed by the tourists on their walks, and a better future of the tourists as a beauty from a shaping of courage. And, as tourists have that courage to be in the public and in those gardens of MOAT, they help others out, for helpfulness symbolizes friendship. Chapter 4. Texan Benefits. The charities of M.O.A.T are helped when an inclusiveness of hope, which is what raises us up with that which aids our toils, is had in a great supply. For the flowers give to us their beauty, and hope arises, and is what aids our toils. The smell of flowers is good as the public reaches an understanding, as their power connects that they themselves belong. And, the layout is beautiful, and it is constructed to bring hope as a new change, which is of love, occurs for the sake of Texas and beyond. The support we give to M.O.A.T is naturally to popularize it, that its new change with a power might bring forth much love which is thrilling to all. The state of Texas benefits powerfully by the wonder M.O.A.T manufactures, and that wonder is to feel pleasure in and from and about the gardens of MOAT, which brings attention not only to the cause of the charities, but to Texas and to Texans and to tourism in Texas. The flowers are wonderful and beautiful at the gardens of M.O.A.T, and people will find pleasure in coming and in doing good to support the cause of MOAT. Public relations experts work on bringing tourism into Texas, all around where the many MOAT garden parks exist, and it is a beauty as an experiment that this goodness may be revered in due time. The picket fences in the gardens of M.O.A.T spread out in a beautiful array, and the experimenting takes place and the conversations which follow from the surprise of the gardens of MOAT, and their being built in one day. Those are conversations which do what conversations do best, they enable us tourists come to visit the businesses around the gardens of M.O.A.T who lease the M.O.A.T lands so that great funds for charity might be collected. The conversations are needed, they enable the support which M.O.A.T brings to the imagination of every woman and man. The development of support thrives after the gardens of M.O.A.T are constructed, and basic needs of Texans and others visiting or imagining what M.O.A.T can do will be supported in a youthful way. Since Texas will feel the rejuvenation of an innocent youthfulness, the flowers grow for the sake of tourism there, and Texas and Texans and beyond will have a better future to come, one of a scope which is beautiful. The enjoyment of an increase of tourism and popularity of a better Texas, and a better future for all, tourists and others around, will find beautiful the shaping of such, as Texas has goodness to offer with the gardens of MOAT. The supporters help tour Texas and MOAT, and these benefits reach far as the tourists spend time with M.O.A.T, and help with their courageous friendship. Chapter 5. The spirals and their designs. The businesses rent on the tax-exempt land around the perimeter of the spirals, which are the structures of M.O.A.T which are constructed there. These structures are what we want, and the constructions of the spiral shape of the 120 gardens of M.O.A.T on every site. 254 in all, because there is a separate garden of M.O.A.T for every county in Texas, bring hope. The flowers blossom in and on and around the 120 picket fence shapes for every M.O.A.T site, and the constructing of them, with the beauty they show, is a reclaiming of the goodness which we choose to reclaim. The support for the gardens of M.O.A.T thrives since the beautiful gardens are good and benign. The day has arrived when the gardens of M.O.A.T appear. It is a time for having something, since gardens help us feel that we have something. Chapter 6. Money distributed. The victims we need to help are the victims which separate charities help, and M.O.A.T is made to help fundraise for those charities. The situation is therefore primarily a charitable one, which, with the best logistics, has the power to be friendly and to help us find our path. These values, that charities are essential, are ours, and with logistics and money for victims, we can find a path which sweetens the lives to a greater extent for people all around. The travelers by coming will help bring attention to MOAT, and the money they and others spend is distributed in a fair way to those charities who provide services and care for our victims. As the money is our resolution which has the purpose of sweetening other lives, the M.O.A.T nonprofit catches on, and M.O.A.T nonprofit rewards a great amount of people. It is a precious solution of our best thoughts, being that rewards are our best thoughts as of yet. Therefore, the contributors, like flowers, flourish too, and the rewards from their help bring out the best of their thoughts in a friendly way, since helping represents friendship. Chapter 7. Surprise Day. TE event that will be surprising is that many if not all of the 254 gardens of M.O.A.T will be built for the public and for tourists to enjoy. Texas one day will awaken to this event. On that surprise day, the structures will have been built for a welcoming public. The next two stages are those of further development and cultivation of the garden parts to the picket fences, and then the building and arrival of businesses of the gardens in the area of the circle. This structure of the gardens of M.O.A.T is what we want, since by creating an immense event, there is a greater good it can do to attract attention to the charitable cause which those who made M.O.A.T have in mind. M.O.A.T represents immensity, and its picket fences are part of its imaginative architectural effect. The flowers are all around, and imagination and understanding both arm us from fear as well as help us feel that we belong. The layout which is surprising in terms of space, just as the surprise day is the surprise in terms of time, this layout we understand, with its flowers and all, connects us to beauty. The planned surprise will be due to the special networking of the many people who are in the loop who will make the gardens of M.O.A.T a possibility. The support will gather, and the flowers and fun and charity will combine for the beautiful, clean, friendly surprise event. Individuals will find out about MOAT, and their discovery process is made to be lots of fun, but with the charitable side of M.O.A.T, and its beautiful result, that good clean fun really will be of a friendly sort which certainly can help to fight off some of the terrible stuff in the lives of individuals all around. The experience of surprise occurs, and beautiful conversations will help to fight off the terrible stuff by enabling a permanent change in part of a subject matter. Travelers who come after the surprise is exposed will love to visit the gardens of MOAT, and it will appear a surprise to many more when the gardens of M.O.A.T are revealed on television and elsewhere, as the surprises will help us feel higher, and as our logistics help us to find our paths. The rewards are great, and the outcomes, both rewards and outcomes, will be of our best thoughts and our best attempts for peace as of yet. As the excitement of the surprise day collects, the end outcome over time will be of a greater peacefulness. Chapter 8. Post M.O.A.T event coverage. The flowers wait, and the entire M.O.A.T project as a new change is an immense project of love. M.O.A.T represents immensity itself, and a new change, like MOAT, brings feelings of love with it. The tourists are surprised by the immensity of M.O.A.T, as are all who discover it by watching the news, and hearing about it elsewhere. The gardens of M.O.A.T wait in place for visitors to travel to, and after the new change comes fun, and it will be a fun which makes us feel clean, being therefore a good clean fun. The donors contributed to this surprise event, and afterwards the M.O.A.T fun will spread by conversations which people have. The conversations happen because the surprise happens, and as conversations enable us further to wonder and love, so will be the result of having built the immense wonders of the gardens of MOAT. Chapter 9. Keeping maintained. The materials for the gardens of M.O.A.T are purchased and utilized. And after the surprise event of MOAT, it will still be necessary to maintain the immense grounds. Yet, the mowing of the grounds, the watering of those grounds at times, and of the flowers, is not unlike the keep up of a golf course. The experience of maintaining the gardens of M.O.A.T perpetuates that new change which represents love. The layout is planned in a way such that the new change is more fun than a burden because it is by love, and of love that good clean fun occurs in general. And so if keeping maintained the gardens of M.O.A.T is like keeping maintained a golf course, it too can be fun as its burden is outweighed by the clean feeling which all have, and by those conversations of all who are enabled by the gardens of M.O.A.T to have them. Chapter 10. 3 Phases of M.O.A.T. The enjoyment of M.O.A.T is developed from 3 stages of new changes. The gardens of M.O.A.T are immense, and we all of us love new changes. The news reports one day the surprise event of the construction of the picket fences. These fences are the first stage of MOAT, and they are the foundation as a 120-part spiral which is set in the area of every 254 circular miles, one project for every 254 Texan counties if possible. The second phase is the further cultivation of the landscape with the planting of flowers in and around those picket fence parts, and also architectural elements will be added for the beautiful gardens. This second stage is one of experimenting since over the wide landscape of the picket fence foundations, much can be done to beautify it. The helping by visitors to the gardens of M.O.A.T will be in its first logistical fundraising stage because visitors can purchase M.O.A.T related products and souvenirs. However, the third phase is where the gardens of M.O.A.T can make a great amount of money for the charities it supports. In the third stage, the logistics are that businesses are allowed to build on the perimeters of the gardens of MOAT, and this is the path to make for charity much money since the businesses rent the M.O.A.T non-profit land, and M.O.A.T filters the money collected to the precious charities. Therefore, with 3 stages, the gardens of M.O.A.T will raise money for charity, and the outcome is a peaceful one once the initial excitement of the surprise wears off. Chapter 11. Sponsorship and landowners. The experience of helping can be done by sponsors of the building of the structures, which is what we want, and also by landowners we approach as M.O.A.T representatives in order to get land for these structures of the gardens of MOAT. The love of the concept of the gardens of M.O.A.T happens, and with generosity and love a beginning will become animated as a feeling of love is what strengthens us. The picket fences are set, and with love and money, generous sponsors and landowners will help M.O.A.T strengthen us all when their money sweetens the M.O.A.T non-profit organization and its purpose. This is the helpfulness which is one of a friendship that sweetens and strengthens the cause and the effects. Chapter 12. Meaning and interpretations. The tourists and the public come to M.O.A.T or hear of it having been built for many reasons, and the structures affect the imagination of those who get what they want. The flowers grow there too, and an understanding of the constructing grows as something which connects and brings hope, since understanding helps us feel like we belong. They charities help people, and M.O.A.T can help the charities, and beauty happens when our needs are cared for. That beauty helps to fight terrible stuff off. And, in Texas, which is the scope of the gardens of MOAT, there has been a historical improvement from our past. And, looking into the novel Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy, which represents Texas at its historical worst, we can see how far we have improved as a state. We are happier now, and though M.O.A.T is a secular organization, if you can imagine hell as a cheating, as in Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian, and heaven as a pardoning, then because of our progress we have achieved betterment to some degree, and by extending our happiness for others who need our charity, we can be in a position to understand that Texas would deserve the gardens of M.O.A.T because it improved from a state of cheating to its best glory so far. And, because, with MOAT, Texas cares for its better future. One of beauty, the gardens of M.O.A.T are seen as its reward which helps to bring the best of our thoughts into action for so many because Texas cares and got better itself. Therefore, by helping, Texas achieves its best glory so far, one whereby helping much friendship results, and the gardens of M.O.A.T will be earned as they should. Finest.